It's kind of hard to hear you.
Welcome to the Open Science Room.
There we go.
Yay!
Yeah.
So, for those who are here for the panel discussion, what we'll do is we'll do a brief opening ceremony first, and then we'll invite you onto the stage and let you get on with your session. Um, so, let me share the screen to show some slides. And then I think it's over to you, Rosa, to get us started.
Thank you, Janine. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first hybrid Open Science Room. My name is Rosa, and I am this year's Open Science Room chair. We are very excited to host for the first time in the OSR a hybrid meeting, a meeting structure that aligns with the goals of open and accessible science. We are really looking forward to all the interesting events we have planned for this week. This year, the Open Science Room will be hosting hybrid panels, immersion sessions, and in person only table topic discussions. The hybrid events will be recorded and made available in our YouTube and DoYou channels.
Me, and
Naomi?
I'm oops, sorry. My name is Naomi, and I'm the deputy chair for the Open Science Room this year. Together, Rosa and I and the rest of the OSR team have planned 5 panel discussions, 3 table topics that are scheduled throughout the week. Attendees also reserve dedicated sessions to share their recent work, organize a group discussion on a topic of interest, or promote your open science software with our community. And you will find these in our calendar under the name Emergent Sessions, and we currently have 2 left if you're interested in signing up.
Thank you. So, for those of you who don't know, the Open Science Room is part of the OHBM Open Science Special Interest Group. My name is Janine. I'm the overall chair of the OSCIG. And the OSCIG aims to create a platform for discussions, collaborations, learning, and sharing ideas linked to the improvements in accessibility and reproducibility in science. And more broadly, we aim to contribute to building an inclusive OHBM community. We hold 2 annual events, the Open Science Room, which you're in right now, and the hackathon. And if you're interested in joining our leadership, there's a lot of positions available. We'll be opening up for nominations very soon, so keep an eye out for that. And then over to Priya.
Is she still connected? Hello.
Um, so yeah, if you're like I said, if you're interested in joining any of the roles in the Open Science Room, consider nominating yourself for deputy chair to work with Priya on the 2023 activities in this very room, well, in the different room, in a different country, but in this room. Um, and there will also be an opportunity to sign up for chair-elect so that you can kind of learn the ropes for the next year afterwards. And we'll hold interviews for nominees at the end of the summer, and the new committee will be formed in fall.
Please take the time to read our code of conduct and enjoy the activities of the Open Science Room.
We would also like to take this opportunity to thank this year's Open Science Room volunteers and sponsors. We are very grateful for everyone's support. Please stick around for short messages from our sponsors.
So this is our incoming leadership for the coming year, where we have some positions open, as we mentioned. There is a party happening tonight, and so if you want to talk more to some of us that are here in person, come and find us. I think we have a special corner where you should be able to find us at the party, so come and see us there, or at the conference. We're here all day, all week. Come and check the code of conduct, like we said. Thank you to our volunteers. And these are some of the sponsors that are amazing and so helpful in terms of, giving us the support to be able to run this room. And so before we get started with the next panel session, I am going to share a couple of short videos from some of our sponsors. So in no particular order,
We don't hear the sound if there is sound. Janine? Naomi, Janine, do you guys hear us? We cannot hear you. I mean, we cannot hear the presentation.
That you can fill if you want to get access to the data. Also, there is a poster presented by Julie Boyle, poster 2071. You're welcome to go see Julie, meet with her, and learn more about the data set. And I can't wait to see how the open science community at HBM is going to use the data and help push the boundaries of neuroscience and AI in the future. So I wish you an awesome conference. Enjoy the open science room. Bye-bye.
Okay, for those of you online, it sounds like you couldn't hear that. So what I'm going to do is share this link here in the chat so that you can. I wanted to play it because there's people in the room here and we could obviously hear it. So let me post the link in the chat for that lovely video. And then,
Share the tab.
I see. Okay, so let me, so I posted that one. So let me redo the sharing. And then we'll go on to the next one. And hopefully this time it will work also for those of you joining us virtually. Here we go.
Hi there, my name's Cass. I'm the Open Science Community Engagement Coordinator at the Welcome Centre for Integrative Neuroimaging, known as WIN, at the University of Oxford. We are so proud to be able to sponsor the Open Science Room at OHBM, and we'd like to take just a few minutes to talk to you about the open science work that we're doing at WIN, and if it's something you're interested in, invite you to engage with us. So we think about open science at WIN through the whole process of a research project. All stages have outputs that we can share with you. So first, we've developed our researchers share their protocols with you, our open protocol database, in a Cobidas and really complete way. We're also developing lots of training for our researchers to help them use GitLab in the most effective way to share their tasks with you, with licensing and DOI, so they're fully fair, compliant. And we're also doing loads of work to develop and train our researchers to use FSL to produce the most reproducible pipelines. And then another huge bit of work getting started with is developing a open data portal so our researchers can share all of their data with you using CCAN as a platform. So not only are we investing in our tools, but we're also investing really heavily in our community. So we're engaging with the WIN researchers to develop the infrastructure that we're creating, making sure it works for them exactly how they want to use it. We're empowering them to create and share resources back with the community, and that's through training, but also things like policy. Helping our researchers grow from their first contact through to sustained participation, and also giving them opportunities to practice leadership in open science. So on the right-hand side, you can see four of our open science ambassadors who are taking part in a structured program to develop their open science leadership skills. And this is where our researchers go to find out about how to do something with WIN in open science at WIN. And these are our open community pages, and they're contributed by the community and me as well. This is written for WIN researchers, but I think there's some things on there that you'll find interesting too. So for example, we have extensive GitLab tutorials and things like guidance on what to include in a Git repository. So how to structure your README, make sure that inviting contributions to your
and also how to
repositories,
cite and
and also how
license
to
them as well.
cite and license them as well.
And this is our protocols database. So when data is acquired
our
using
researchers
MR,
can upload
our
their full
researchers can
acquisition
upload their full
sequence to our
acquisition
protocols
sequence
database,
to our protocols database, and then share that with you in a fully version controlled way. So what you should see more of in the future is in our papers, statements like full acquisition protocol, along with the radiographer's procedures, are available from the protocols database. So then you jump through to the Zenodo where the DOI is issued, and that can take you back to our repository, and you can download everything about the sequence that you need. So that's it, a quick summary of what we're doing. As I said, we're looking at the whole research project from data acquisition to data sharing and creating tools to help our researchers share those parts of their work with you. And the OpenWin community really is a growing and thriving place to contribute to local open science, but also we facilitate more broader interaction as well with the broader open science community. So as said, my name's Cass. I'm the Open Science Community Engagement Coordinator. If you're thinking about coming to Oxford or you're thinking about going somewhere where there is a good open science community and lots of prioritization of this work, WIN is a great place to come. So come and give me a wave, say hello, and I'd love to speak with you. Thanks so much. Enjoy your HBM and see you in the Open Science Room. Bye.
I'll also post these on our website so people can click through them on the website as well at some point.
Hey, I'm Ross Koldreich from Stanford University, and on behalf of the entire Open Neuro team, I'm happy to welcome you all to the Open Science Room for this year's meeting in Glasgow. We've been happy to support the Open Science Room for a number of years now because we think it's one of the coolest and most exciting places to be at OHBM, and we're really excited to have a chance to actually see a bunch of you in person this year. If you have any questions about any of the projects that we're involved in, including Open Neuro, bids, or fMRI prep, or anything else, feel free to come grab one of us in the Open Science Room. We're happy to talk more with you about it. Have fun and hope to see you all there.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
That's great. Okay, so somehow there's something wrong with my camera, but I will give priority to our speakers today to have their video on. Um, so and I really welcome everyone to our OHBM Open Science Room 2022. I am Priya Supaya, and I'm your moderator for today's panel team titled Challenges of Open Science in Developing Countries. So this is actually a sharing session. We can have an informal chat regarding funding opportunities, open source data sharing, and lab culture in developing countries. This panel is aimed at discussing the challenges that are faced by these countries, which are related to the availability of educational technology, including access to adequate online learning resources, opportunities for data processing, training, and open source tools, as well as for professional development and networking. We will discuss the coordinated actions that can be taken in order for us to support and implement open science based research in an environment that has limited economic resources. So, without further ado, I would like to take turns for our speakers to introduce themselves. Can we start with Dr. Aini from Malaysia?
Hi, hello everyone. Can you hear my voice? Okay, great. I'm Aini. I'm a lecturer and a researcher in the Department of Neurosciences, School of Medical Sciences, University Science Malaysia, Health Campus, which is located in Kelantan, Malaysia. At the same time, also a co-coordinator for Master of Cognitive Neuroscience program. My research interest lies in the area of cognitive neurosciences, functional magnetic resonance imaging, and brain connectivity.
Okay, wonderful, Dr. Aini. Thank you for your short intro. Can we ask for Dr. Tanya Lak from Thailand to give a brief intro?
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Thanyalaktian Thadekit. I'm a nuclear medicine physician in Faculty of Medicine Siran Hospital in Bangkok, Thailand. My research interests are in the molecular imaging in neurology, especially in neurodegenerative disease, and also in cardiology and oncology as well. I also have a chance to work as the executive committee and co-leaders in Thai Young Scientist Academy, and now I'm a current board member of the Brain Imaging Council of the Society of Nuclear Medicine and Molecular Imaging.
That's wonderful, Tanya. Can we get Dr. Vasan to share something about himself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Vasant Venugopal. I'm a radiologist by training. Presently, I serve as the Chief Medical Officer for Carpal.ai. At Carpal.ai, we translate the AI solutions that are built for radiology clinics from lab to the clinics to deploy them in hospitals, help radiologists to get access to them, test them, and use them in their clinical practice. Apart from our commercial work with commercial companies, we also work very closely with academic institutions, research groups, trying to help them with their research validation and also help them to reach real world clinical use. So we have traveled the journey of being a pure research organization to someone now trying to commercialize some of these open source tools into clinical practice. Happy to share my views today. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Vasan. And so we have two from academia purely, Dr. Aini and Dr. Tanya, and Dr. Vasan, who has sailed the ocean of academia and now exploring into industry. So I would like to ask the first question to Dr. Aini regarding her challenges in getting technical training and how her ability in actually overcoming this and therefore contributing to open science.
Yeah, as we know that, Open Science is a platform to gather all research data and scientific data in digital format safely and reliably. Okay, as my field, my technical skill, not much in terms of the open science. So in my institution, University Science Malaysia, we now move forward to open science initiative. So technical skills like digital data is one of the big advantage, but because of the limitations, usually we need to work or collaborate with other institution or even within the faculty in our university to be make sure that this initiative can move forward. as we know that we as a researcher, we are not perfect, so we still have our own limitation and lack on some technical skill. So the collaboration is the key. So therefore, even though I believe that people might ask, why don't we just upload the scientific data that we had in any open database? As we all know, the more open we are, the closer we must be in terms of the privacy, commercialization, and national security. Okay, therefore, my NeuroDV is developed, especially in my University Science Malaysia, whereby one of the goals of my NeuroDB is to build a data repository to host collections of neuroimaging data extracted from neuroimaging archive and even a machine at our hospital, as well as to share capabilities. So in developing this repository is not easy, especially for the medical school or health campus in my university. This is because of, we lack expertise in big data analytics, neuroinformatics, and other relevant skills. There's, like I mentioned before, collaboration with other school faculties, enables this initiative to continue. So therefore, Brain and Behavior Cluster in School of Medical Sciences collaborate with the expert at other school, especially in the computer science program, to develop this platform. Although I'm not involved much in developments of this platform, but as a researcher who uses fMRI as a tool, we still can contribute, especially in advising the development team in terms of the data format, capacity, and also the privacy concern. So at the same time, me as a researcher and team members, we also learn, from this development, because of we, even though we need to advise them, but still we need some skills, okay, to actually helping them in developing this platform. At a national level, we also had a similar initiative called Malaysia Open Science Platform. This actually a pilot initiative project funded by Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovations, spearheaded by Malaysia Open Science Alliance and implemented by the Academy of Science Malaysia. So I hope that by having this platform in future, we can have an established open science that gather Malaysian scientific data to be shared with other scientific communities from different countries and expertise in accelerating research and open collaboration enabled by information and communication technologies. So to
Yeah,
summarize,
that's
the
very
limit,
nice.
to
Yeah.
summarize, limited technical skills are not a problem, but an opportunity for collaborations and accelerating research actually.
That sounds very wonderful, Dr. Aini. Always when we embark on something, we should have a goal in mind. And you seem to have a clear-cut path on how you're going to explore and develop open science in your country. I would like to ask Albert Pearson from Ghana now to introduce himself and perhaps share a little bit about his challenges in open science in Ghana.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Albert, please
Okay,
proceed. Thank you.
I'm Albert. I'm a lecturer from the University of Cape Coast in Ghana, and then a PhD student at the University Kebangsaan, Malaysia, where I'm pursuing my PhD. And my research area has to do with multimodal neuroimaging for the investigation of the Alzheimer's disease continuum. With respect to some of the challenges with the neuroimaging, funding is one crucial area. For instance, in my country, in many of the universities where you find funding for conference attending is just once every 2 years. That is, if the university really wants to sponsor you to go for an international conference, just once every 2 years. So any subsequent conference one may want to attend, it means you have to fend for yourself depending on wherever you get your funding from. So this is just one of it. Then there are issues of also getting your studies published in open access journals. We all know that open access journals, the cost of publication is very expensive. We don't have such opportunity to get any kind of funding to be able to publish our papers in open access journals. So at the end, they all end up most of the time behind paywalls, which is also very difficult for people to pay to access the articles. So then there is issue of where even if there is the opportunity to apply for grants. Personally, I think some of the criteria that is being set up for the application is too stringent in some ways for people from developing countries. You're finding some of the proposal applications whereby they want you to use 3 Tesla MRI systems. Whereas in my country like this, we have just one facility that has a 3 Tesla machine. Most of the facilities are using 1.5. So this is a big challenge for some of us if you really want to get used to making use of some of this high-end equipment for research. So these are some of the few challenges which I can highlight for now. So I don't know if there are opportunities for
Yeah, thanks, Albert. So definitely, this is a platform where we can voice out our challenges, and indirectly we can get collaborators, and it can improve our networking. We hope that more people will step forward, and we can improve our networking in this field. How about Dr. Vasant? How is your experience in exploring the open source tools and developing solutions towards improving the practice of open science?
Uh, Thank you. So, as everyone rightly pointed out, the biggest elephant in the room is funding, right? So, every researcher in any part of the developing world is limited by funding, right? And that is the one dimension through which the entire science in the developing world is looked at. So, I would keep that funding part a little bit aside for a moment, and I will talk about the other challenges which we faced. Fortunately for us, when we started out doing open science, we were anchored by a large imaging chain called Mahajan Imaging, and we had access to enough funding from them. We are grateful to date for that. And even if you have funding, what other challenges do you face as an open science developer in a developing world is something I want to emphasize upon. The first and foremost challenge which you will face if you are a developer working on getting access to diverse data sets from multiple sites is there is no clear cut legal or ethical framework in this part of the world, right? Take my country or any other country, there is no framework which exists that what is a legal and ethical way to use the data for building any open science tools. We don't want to end up in a kind of a legal quagmire once we have built tools. The second, and in fact, something which we don't want to talk about in open forums is that the reputation which the rest of the world looks at developers from this part of the country, right? If you do the same kind of research work with the same kind of data points, still you would have a barrier to reach that visibility and access and let the world aware of what you have built and how remarkable it is. That barrier still exists. I don't know how good we can collaborate together and break that reputation barrier for any researcher working out of this part of the country. And some other challenges, as rightly pointed out by Albert, is even if you have a good framework or hypothesis, you don't have the enough physical tools to execute that hypothesis. For online resources, you still have several opportunities. WHO has an in-area access program for accessing publications. So many good things are happening, but if you come to a physical hardware tools which would be part of your hypothesis, you don't have that. Funding may be one challenge for that, but we should explore together as other ways to solve that barrier. And especially building a network of researchers in developing world, building a forum of researchers from developing world is definitely going to help to make our voices heard, right? So I think that is my kind of 2 cents on that. So And also one more thing, when we talk about getting uh, access to publishing in reputed journals with paywalls, I think that is something which need to be brought out and discussed with large publishing houses. They do have some programs already which exist for encouraging publications from uh, countries of low income group, but again the awareness of such tools and such facilities are still very limited. We have to build mechanisms to kind of diverse that awareness among researchers in developing world.
Yes, that's really wonderful, Dr. Vasant. Now let's hear from Tanya. What are her experiences in the limitation of technical training, as well as the limitation in collaboration and developing networks? Networking is an important component of doing research, and how Tanya has overcome this to connect with the community of neuroimaging worldwide.
Let me answer the first question first. In terms of the
Can you hear me?
limitation of the training,
No.
can you hear?
Yes, yes. Dr. Pedro, can you mute yourself for a short while? Dr. Pedro, can you? Okay.
Yeah.
Tanya, please continue. Thank you.
Okay. For the limit in training, for example, for
Oh,
myself,
sorry, Tanya, if you do not mind, with just a short intro for Dr. Pedro to introduce himself.
Sure.
He just managed to come onto
Can
the
you hear
screen.
me?
Yes, we can hear you, Dr. Pedro. Can you introduce yourself? Unmute, please. Unmute your mic. Okay, please introduce yourself. We can hear you now. Dr. Pedro, can you hear me? Okay. I think he's having some technical problem with his microphone. Maybe Tanya, Dr. Tanya Luck, we would like you to continue. Thank you.
Okay. So for the limitation in training, for example, for myself, I'm a nuclear medicine physician. So my knowledge and skill are limited with the brain imaging and the clinical science, but I have very limited knowledge in the IT or data science stuff. So what I did was I reached out to my colleague first, and then I extend to other people, like from the application specialist for the company that are working with us, or other researcher group that have knowledge about the software and this data science. So I can have more training, and because I know that even if I have training, it will take me like forever to understand what they understand. So I just contribute what I am good at. Like I can contribute the clinical knowledge and the imaging data, but as the Dr. Aini said that now not only the training is the problem. Uh, to contribute the data now, like in Thailand, we just have the Personal Data Protection Act applied this month. So everybody is like panic about sharing the data of the patient to the community, and the university becomes so strict. So we need to have the formal agreement between institute or the research group to share the data even to the research, and we need to describe what data we will share and in what purpose we will use this data. Otherwise we cannot share into the community, so it will affect on sharing the big data to open to anyone. So I think that by the technical problem or technical training, we can just reach out to and make the collaboration with other groups. So we can learn together and we can have the sharing to the community. But for other uh, for the other problem, we need to work out together. And I think that if we want to share our data to the specific platform, we will have the instruction from that platform and also the technical staff to assist you about the technical problem you may face. So I think that this problem is not very much a problem to us. And the second question you asked me about how I build my network, right, Priya?
Yes, that's right, Tanya.
Yeah, okay. So let me share my experience with you. When I started my project on multimodal brain imaging in 2014, my network was pretty limited. Like I know some of nuclear medicine physician and some of colleague in my radiology department, but to start this kind of project, we need to involve other experts like pharmacists, radiochemists, physicists, and also clinicians, and also the computer scientists to deal with the data. And also we need to have like image processing and AI. So I need to build up my connection to other. I start with from the people close to me, like my colleague in my department, and then they recommend me to other people, so I can expand my circle to ask them to work together in the project. And when I have this collaboration and get the grant from the national agency grant, I have also the opportunity to work with the IAEA to do the multinational project with them, so I can expand my network by connection with the expert in the project, and also the agency can also help me to connect with other people. So I think that the opportunity to work with as many as people that you know is the best thing that you can make connection. And also when I participate in some meeting, when I have the question, I just go to the expert and ask and discuss with them. So uh, that's why I can have more connection with them. So when they have some project, or like they have information about the grant related to my project, they forward this information and they invite me to participate in some meeting that can enhance my knowledge and skills. So I think that uh, when you want to have more network, you have to reach out to other people and show why you want to do your work. And if they agree that your work will be useful for the community or society, they will be able to help you as much as they can. Okay.
That, yes, that's very informative, Tanya. So what we can gather is the experience of doing research involves a collaborative work with many different researchers, and that can enhance our own work. I believe from Dr. Tanya's experience of getting in touch with agencies that does similar work as hers has enabled her to broaden her networking. So, in particular for Tanya, it was the International Atomic Energy Agency, which does a lot of research related to nuclear energy. So, any researcher who's beginning in their career, it is encouraged that they look into organizations or agencies that are similar in their research field and reach out to them. This will help you to improve your networking, and joining conferences and all will help for you to gain confidence as well as build a good relationship with other researchers in the field. Yeah, this is very pertinent experience shared by Tanya.
Yes, and I also want to add one more thing. Even if you don't know those people. What I did when I want help, I just search for the email of the person of the people I want to contact, and I just send the email and write about what project I'm working in and what I want their help if they can. And even if I don't know them in person, they respond very quickly, and some of them even forward my request to the people who they think they might help me, and that helped me a lot.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, so now I would also like to read out some questions from the participants. The first question is, should OEM or modality manufacturers take some ownership towards collaboration and I believe also helping in funding? Would Dr. Vasan like to help answer that?
Yes, definitely. I think they already are taking ownership and giving out grants. It's just that you need to be aware of what is your modality of work and who to reach out to. And just to add to what Dr. Tanya mentioned, one of the things which will help the open science community is to be use the social media tools like LinkedIn and Twitter. There is so much information there about the different types of researchers working in different research groups, availability of grants, the information about websites, people building things, conferences. So if you can use LinkedIn or Twitter more effectively, I think it helps to build a wider network. And definitely the OEMs and industries helping out open science groups with not only they're providing grants, and also some of these vendors are happy to take commercial ownership and translate your lab tools into clinical efficiency tools. That's definitely happening.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Vasant. Another question from the participants is, as researchers located in Europe, so I believe the participant is a researcher located in Europe. This person is sharing that they have shared their results as open access publications, open source software, and open data as much as possible. Do researchers in developing countries experience problems in using the research output that is shared by people in Europe? Example, maybe due to licensing problem or limitation in computational resources. So what they're asking is, they have shared their data, and do we have experience in trying to access the data, but then still there are some limitations? May I ask who would like to try to answer this?
Maybe I can try to
Okay, Dr.
answer
Ani.
this question. Okay. Regarding data sharing, so means that we, especially in Malaysia, we can download the open access, either publication or data sharing or even software. But the limitation here in terms of the resources, especially when the data is very big, one of the challenges is our internet. Okay, uh, especially when there is a location with a limited internet resources or bandwidth, sometimes we need to allocate more time just to download the data. Other than that, we also have the difficulties in terms of the data storage. Like for example, for the neuroimaging data, as we know that the data is not small, it's very big, especially when we have many participant or subject in that particular research. So that will be a big challenge because it's related to funding. Okay, so yeah, that will be a big challenge in terms of the licensing, because of we just use the open science data. I don't think that licensing problems happen in developing country, because we are allowed to download, but in terms of the storage, internet bandwidth will be our difficulties. That's what I can see.
Yeah, especially if in case of large data sets, if there is no continuous internet availability. Once it breaks, you have to start from scratch again. So that's a practical problem. One other challenge maybe the community faces is some of these code sets which are shared as part of this open source is it's difficult to kind of convert that weights or codes into a practically usable application. So if it is an AI algorithm, that's where I come from, so I can relate to that. If even if the researcher shares the weights of the AI model, it is difficult for a researcher without taking help from an expert in that field to convert that codes into a practically usable application.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Vasant. Another very intuitive sharing. Um, so another question from the participant is that our speakers have talked about barriers to sharing the data, such as legally binding issues. So what barriers do you face for receiving data? For example, some big data sharing tools require desktop clients to be installed. Do you have problems installing softwares or any other challenges for actually receiving a data?
So I think that is closely similar to the question which was asked earlier. So we do have some challenges in downloading large data sets due to the discontinuous or internet connections with breaks. And apart from that, one more challenge, especially if you are sharing healthcare data while downloading the data, one of the concerns which we have is what if a data shared from an European site hasn't been properly de-identified. So we end up finding data with uh, PHIs in some of those cases. How do we go about it? Whom do we inform? Do we end up in that entire mm, problem of re-identifying and de-identified data? All those questions are still very unclear. Even though we don't have any legal barriers in accessing data from European Union, we are still very, very concerned about the quality of de-identification of that particular data. And if there is some kind of framework which helps researchers in the open in the developing world to whom to reach out if we encounter a PHI, and how much is our liability in that entire process would be really helpful.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Vasant. There is another question. The previous question was from Cassandra Goldwen Prague, and next question is: are there any government funds specifically allocated to building open source in developing countries? So I think they're trying to ask: are there specific government funding to building open source, for example, maybe open source database or open source tools in developing countries? I think all of our speakers have experience. So let's start with Tanya, followed by Dr. Vasan and Dr. Aini and Albert too.
Yeah, I think that for the Ministry of Health in Thailand now they are trying to develop the big data source into the ministry. So they want to try with the hospital under the ministry. The issue is the technical problem in each hospital, I think, because some of them have different infrastructure and also the human resource. So to develop the big data using the same requirement, like the same protocol, might be a problem because I think that in the to develop the big data, something like homogeneous data is required. And we need to have the standardization start from the acquisition protocol and also the reconstruction protocol, and also how to save the data in the same manner before we can clean up the data and save them into the same platform. That is my opinion. But yes, there is funding to support this kind of developing big data, and also under the ministry, and also in institution like in my university, they try to develop our big data.
Yes, at least in India, there are several funding agencies which are open to fund open source tools. There is DST, INSA, all of them provide funding. And as Dr. Tanya rightly pointed out, even if you have the funding, there are other infrastructure and human resource limitations. So, which is very unique to the developing world, because if you're working on a data, the way the data is collected is very different. To put in an effort to curate that data is a lot of demand from both the training as well as the human resource perspective. But funding is still very much available from several agencies in India.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Vasant. And can I have Dr. Aini now to share her experience?
Okay, regarding the government allocations to build open source, in my country, as I mentioned previously about the pilot initiative project, which is funded by the Ministry of Science, Technology, Innovation. So at the moment, they try to work on that, which is called Malaysia Open Science Platform, implemented by the Academy of Science Malaysia. So I hope that in future, when we can show to the governments it's working, so we can have additional allocations to build up this platform, so that it will benefit, to many people, not only university in Malaysia, but also other agency, institution, and even hospital, that can contribute to this initiative.
Thank you, Dr. Aini. And how about you, Albert? Is there any available resources in Ghana or in the African continent?
In Ghana, there is first there is no funding from government towards even research. That is the first problem. So to even talk of open source, there is nothing like that exists. Government is now trying to put in place a national research fund for researchers from various universities to be able to apply. We hope that can come to fruition maybe in the next 1 or 2 years soon. So that is the current situation we have now in Ghana.
Okay, that's great. So can I get a short wrap up to summarize, beginning with Dr. Tanya, followed by Dr. Aini, Albert, and Dr. Vasant? A short wrap up on your journey in actually developing open science in your respective countries, making sure that you are in the correct path and guiding future researchers, to not to feel overwhelmed, but to see that there is a clear path in practicing open science. Thank you.
Okay. What I learned from my experience is that first you need to have the focus or insight what you want to do and what data you want to share or contribute. And then you have to evaluate yourself that what you have, like expertise, knowledge, and skill, and what you are lacking of. And if you're lacking in something, you need to reach out to other people and seek for help. And then I think that from you can learn from my experience that something like reaching out to people is not that difficult. You mean you don't have anything to lose. You reach out. If they don't respond, you can reach out to other people. And after you have the collaboration and networking, you try to expand your network so you can have more vision and more collaboration to help your work to be successful. And I think that is my wrap up, so I can forward to other people.
Okay, I think I can continue. So I think for my journey, I mean, to work in the open science, not only in developing, even though I'm not actually work much in terms of developing the open science platform, but what I can learn from this initiative, first we need to know which data we can share and which data we can't share, because like Dr. Tanya said that in his country there is a personal data act that we need to follow. I think similar to other country as well. So because it's involved research data or any medical or health sciences data or human data itself, now what we can do actually, first we need to check whether we need an approval, okay, based on our country or government agency, or we need to have an approval from the human or animal ethics committees, for example. So this is what I learned. So means that we need to check in terms of the act first, so before we can upload our data in any platform. Okay, other than that, not only about the data platform, I mean open science data platform, but also about the how we can contribute to open science in terms of data, because as we know, okay, most of the country, especially developing country, we have lack funding, and sometimes we also have lack in terms of the facilities, like what Dr. Vasan said, that sometimes we need to collaborate with other university and even with other people in other country, so that we can have the facilities, and also we can share multi neuroimaging data, for example. And based on my experience and even the training that I had, we need to collaborate. And even I have a collaboration previously with Dr. Pedro. So we work with Cuba and also China to be make sure that our TBI project work not only in terms of the facilities, but also in terms of the expertise. Because we know that all the developing country, one of our big challenge, not only facilities but expertise, because most of our research is multidisciplinary. Okay, yeah, that will be the wrap up. And my final word is actually this open science room discussion is a good opportunity, not only for me but also I believe to all panels and audience to know each other expertise, and I hope that we can do a collaboration in future in relevant field. So lacking in some aspect doesn't mean that we can't move forward, but actually we can move forward, with the high enthusiasm, strive us from zero to hero and become stronger.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Aini. It was definitely a very useful sharing. And are we ready for Albert's sharing on this? You can wrap up on how you have overcome the challenges of open science and therefore paved the way forward for similar researchers such as yourself in Ghana. Albert, can you hear me?
I
Yes,
think there
I think
is some issue.
we can hear him. Yes, can you speak louder, Albert? Maybe it's internet connectivity, right?
Yeah,
Albert,
I
are
think
you able to?
I think that's one of the major issues in developing world.
Yeah, definitely.
Internet connectivity.
Internet connectivity is definitely
Yes.
very, posing a large threat to our work.
Maybe Dr.
If
Priya.
his screen is frozen, I actually would like to read another question from the participants. This is about their comment. Most large data sets have been collected in HIC country, that means high income countries, and based on the demographic distribution of those countries, so it's skewed towards the Caucasian data sets. So are there initiatives to collect large, perhaps even longitudinal data sets like ABCD or HCP that represents the population in the global south? Are there challenges other than funding that need to be addressed to collect data locally? Tanya, would you just like to start, and then Dr. Aini and Dr. Vasan?
Okay, I agree with that. When another participant asked about the difficulty of using the open source data done in Europe, because uh, we know that there are the open data source, but some of the experts, like in my center, they ask, can we just apply those data to use with our population? Because even the like for the brain, like that the human brain have different shape, and also some other than the morphologic, which may not affect much because the software can warping or fit them into the normal template. But there are also unanswered different between demographic of the population. So they ask us to develop our own database, which require a lot of money to do that because everything in the nuclear medicine neuroimaging is quite expensive. So that is my issue about that.
Okay, how about Dr. Aini?
Yeah, I mean the large data set that we had just now, from the high, income country, yeah, we need our own data because we know that even though the difference in terms of the brain, maybe in terms of the size, but still, when we talk about cognitive process, is actually relate with culture, food, because this also will contribute because the way we are being raised by our parents might be different from the people from Europe. Okay, even Malaysia, Thailand, India, okay, we still have a bit different, even though we are in Malaysia, we are multiracial. How actually Malay, Chinese, India being raised by the parents also might also influence the way we think. So this might also a big challenge. Okay, that's why the large data set, we still need a data set from in all country. Okay, not only from European country, from US, but also from Asia country, and even different country also have a different influence, because as like previously Dr. Tanya said about the homogeneous data, so that to have a homogeneous data so that we can have a concrete conclusions and we can critically discuss on this matter, we need a homogeneous data. So means that we need a large data set, not only based on the what we had just now, but also we need additional data from other country as well, so that we will learn more and we will understand more, so easy for us in the future if we want to develop any software or platform in diagnostic or even in other related area.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Aini. Dr. Vasan, would you like to share your insights on this?
Yes, definitely. Funding is definitely an issue. We'll keep that again aside. Apart from that, we as a group tried sharing large volumes of data sets of different modalities with academic groups based in Europe and US. One of the pushbacks is that uh, for any meaningful research, the data needs to have certain structure to it, right? If you look at the way the hospital systems work in developing countries, they are optimized to the processes and the infrastructure which they have, right? So if they have to deliver a result to a particular patient in a short time, they will optimize each step. The primary aim for these healthcare providers is not to collect data to help in a research. They do that to deliver healthcare to that particular patient in question, so that there is no proper structure that is being maintained while the data is collected. So we need to train these healthcare providers in a way to add structure to the data while that is being collected without compromising on their workflows. That's one of the challenges. And I already mentioned about the non-existent legal frameworks. I don't know if I am legally allowed to share my data with an academic group based in EU or even US or any other country. My country doesn't have a law around it. There is no clear framework. I do de-identification. I do all those measures. I get an IRB approval from my institute. Even I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share the data. And the third important kind of more practical problem is not many institutes which are open to share the data. They don't even tools to de-identify the data, right? They don't have the knowledge or the skill set to properly de-identify the data. And one of the other challenges is also the infrastructure, which again comes back to the funding. If I need to store my data for the past 1 year to provide you a longitudinal data, I need to get an PAC system which costs me $20,000. My clinical care delivery is working perfectly fine without that PAC systems. If I need to install a PACs to collect data, I need to kind of have the funding. So these are the challenges. Apart from funding, also there is a challenge around the training of the healthcare deliverer to collect the data in a structured manner, and training to even to de-identify the data and put a structure to the data to be able to share it in a meaningful way to the researchers around the globe. Those are the challenges. And there's one more question from a dear friend in that box. I will address that also. He's asking if there are radiology bodies in India trying to put to an effort to collect data bank. Again, IRA or any other radiology bodies or executive bodies, they don't have any kind of power to implement anything. They can just only advise. They can do that in a voluntary kind of environment. Again, the challenges around the manpower, resources, and what is in it for me, for the researcher, is something which need to be addressed when such large bodies try to collect data set in a you know in a kind of an universal manner.
Yeah.
Okay, let me add
Albert, are you
on.
on?
There
Okay,
is
good.
also the issue of the kind of equipment that are being manufactured and being used in developed countries. We have series of situations where the equipment, it's either they get broken down for a very long period of time before they undergo preventive planned maintenance, or we have situations whereby helium gets finished and then the cost of buying becomes a headache in major public health facilities. So this is where the issue of the equipment manufacturers also comes in. What equipment they produce for use in some of the developed countries? Some of them are not even able to withstand the temperature in our system, where we have a very hot temperature, and the cost of powering this equipment is also a very big issue for many of us in the developed countries. So in the developed countries, so we need to see about how this issue can really be addressed, and perhaps with the issue of the infrastructure, which are also very quite limited, like I mentioned earlier on, to restrictions to say, okay, if you want to be part of this large international project, you need to acquire your data set from only 3 Tesla machine. It's also a big challenge for some of us where we have just merely 1.5 Tesla equipment that are mostly predominant in our system. So these challenges all come into being as to how we need to refocus on our attention if there is really the interest to get data sets from developing countries. Some of the criteria they set up for some of these proposals and grant applications, they need to really take a critical look at them so that we can have a holistic approach to tackling some of these neurodegenerative diseases that are plaguing the international community.
Yeah, thank you, Albert. So actually, there is a participant who has added a comment, Stephen Hunis, saying that decisions in Europe about what to prioritize when it comes to open science efforts on large scales, example, Plan S, open cloud infrastructure, etc., do not necessarily take into consideration the people, groups, countries, or communities that might need such efforts the most. If you, this is some suggestion made by the participant, if you could prioritize the effort.
Yeah, further to add on, there
Yeah.
are also situations where some facilities are not willing to release data set for research,
Okay.
where particularly the private institutions, where there is the fear of like there's going to be a breach on the patient's information. And then even I've had experience where in a public institution where a radiologist personalizes reports of patients, a radiologist keeping reports of patients on his laptop. And even though the ethical approval was given by the institution, the radiologist still refused to release it, saying they are his own property. So this is also a big challenge where if you really want to do a research, there are limitations even from within our own system where people become major barriers for whatever you intend to achieve. And these are some of the issues we keep highlighting, some of the conferences that we have the opportunity to present on, where there is a need for people to have the open mind towards research. People want to just sit in their own corner and think they are just the champions of whatever community they are in. So this is an additional situation which is a challenge in our system here.
Albert, are you able to hear me? Can you hear me? I'm not sure, but okay. To kind of put it in a nutshell, Albert was saying that there are some clinicians or researchers who do not want to make their data open access. They do not want to make it an openly available data set. Actually, from my understanding, this is not exclusive to the global south or developing countries. There are people even in the HIC, high income countries, who are maybe very conventional. They conduct conventional kind of research, and or even people from who are involved with industry, that they do not want to divulge their data. But yes, we hope that with more promotion of open science, there becomes a bigger, the voice of open science has a bigger audience, and we are able to share how much more it can benefit mankind to actually practice open science, rather than hoard the data in their own institutions. Yeah.
What is the situation in your respective countries with respect to funding for attending conferences? Do you have a situation whereby you
I
are
think
consistently being
every
funded, or
country
there
has
is
its own
limitation?
I think every country has its own rules and regulations, the criteria to be met. So I think that is beyond the scope of today's talk. There actually are many different criteria to be able to to secure funding for conference, for travel. So I think that is based on individual institution. And may I just go on to share what Stephen Yunis had said? So he was suggesting that that if we could reprioritize our efforts in receiving large-scale funding and resources and attention in Europe with the aim of creating equal opportunities globally, what would we prioritize? What are the practical examples? He is asking what kind of practical examples would be proposed by our current panelists, so that there can be a reprioritization of distribution of funding to include opportunities even among the developing countries. Dr. Aini, would you like to share your opinion on this? Are you able to unmute? Okay.
Yeah. Now, sorry for the technical difficulties. Okay, I think about the large scale funding and resources, I mean, to create the equal opportunity globally. I think if we talk about international grant funding, most of the international grants, sometimes one of the requirement we need to work with the people in that country so that we can, actually work together, the data set, and then to use the expertise collaborations. So that will be one of the big challenge, because sometimes, when you see the grant opportunity and you only have a short period to prepare on that, right? So yeah, if you have a collaborator, or some of the researcher at that time, I think it will be work. But let's say we just know, that the funding last minute, and we need to find the network. Sometimes it will be a big challenge to work on that. Yeah, if we just focus nationally, I believe in the developing country, especially in the current moment with the most of the reduction budget, it's not an easy work to do on this part. So yeah, I mean, to prioritize effort, yeah, of course we need an effort to do that, and we need a networking to work with the large scale funding, especially when we want to get the fund, from European countries or UK, or even, from other high income country.
Yeah, maybe I can add a couple of things here, Dr. Priya. The one of the problems of the way the developed world approaches the developing world, especially countries in Africa and India, is that if you are a researcher working in something related to TB or any other infectious diseases, you will get an funding quite easily. But if you are someone working in a disease spectrum like dementia or mild cognitive impairment, it's going to be tough because the lens through which the developing world is looked at least by some of the large funding agencies, is that huge problem of handling TB and other diseases of the developing world. While that may be true from a practical point of view of improving the overall healthcare of a population of those countries, but for researchers working in niche areas different from what something like a TB or other communicable diseases, it's still very difficult to get large scale funding from Western agents and even find collaborators in these areas from the Western world or the developed world is still a challenge. So that is something maybe we can reprioritize. We can talk more about the cardiovascular diseases, neurological diseases. These are diabetes is a real problem of a country like India. So we need to talk more about this, and we need to find collaborators and funding for researchers working in these areas, not just in TB and other communicable diseases.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Vasant. And can I ask Dr. Tanya Lak to wrap up on her experience and how she has overcome the challenges of open science in her own country?
Uh, Actually, my work has not been published in the open science yet because we are just only doing our own research and also work with specific group like in the multi-center research group, and which only share the data with that research under the agreement. So I think that the challenge, as everybody has already discussed, that some institute still think that the data of the patient is under their own protection. So when we have to consider about sharing our data to outside source, like to the community, like especially in the global community, is kind of challenge, especially when the PDPA or the Personal Data Protection Act just launched in our country. So everybody is concerned about the law will be applied to that. So we still consider this very intensively. But I think that back to the question, I was thinking about if there is the opportunity, like the funding for globally data collection, like specific project to have expanding data collect from not only in Europe or only in the high income country, but also try to recruit the data from other developing country, and we make the global big data that might be benefit to us, because we can get the data from this source, and we can have some of the population with the similar population to our country to apply. So we think that the data might not be different much from our data. Yes. Any opinion from Albert?
Anyway, because of our time limit, we have another event under the main conference going to start shortly.
With regards
Albert,
to, I didn't get you clearly.
sorry, I would like to thank all the speakers, panelists for
Hello?
today. We really have to wrap up now due to another event starting shortly in the main conference hall. And
Can you hear me?
Albert, we need to wrap it up now. So I'm thanking all the panelists, and I welcome any attendees to email our panelists if they have further questions. And we welcome you to our open science community. Please feel free to join and share your opinions in our various platforms. And OSR is on for the next 4 days until Thursday. So do feel free to hop on. Our promotional slides can be seen in Twitter, and we will be sending out email reminders about other events in the next 4 days. Plan for the next 4 days. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.